Okay, so just a question, guys. So how many of you are joining this meeting for the first time today? Okay. Okay. All right. So I would suggest going back and taking a look at the previous series of videos that we have recorded, just to get an idea. So just to give a background, uh, the entire big data paradigm in the IT industry, and Hadoop is the tool for it. And today what we are going to see is how easy or how simple it is to set up the original Hadoop, the Apache Hadoop software on Linux. Okay, so you'll see a lot of institutions, lot of academic institutions, they are having courses on Hadoop, setting up Hadoop, running MapReduce jobs and stuff like that. But this is what I'm sharing, how the way I learned when I was learning maybe about a couple of years back. Okay, so it's really pretty simple. Uh, in fact, it can be done in a matter of minutes, as I'm going to show you. Okay, so a couple of things to keep in mind is that I'm not a Linux expert. I do not work day in day out on Linux. So I work at Microsoft. So predominantly I am with Microsoft technologies. And if you see the real life picture today around big data solutions, you will see a lot of companies like Cloudera, Greenplum, Hortonworks. They all have their own Hadoop solutions. Okay, so it's very likely that if you guys stay in this technical domain, you guys will end up working in one of those solutions only, like which is a customized Hadoop bundle distributed by these vendors. Okay, but it is always good to know how the plain vanilla things work, because in case something breaks, you will always know the internals. Okay, how things are set up, so that will put you in a better position compared to others who will start learning that black box that is provided by these vendors. Okay, so I'll appreciate if you can hold on with the questions till the later of this, the end of this session, because this is getting recorded. Okay, so yeah, so I'll just answer this question. So HD Insight, yes, it doesn't matter whether it is HD Insight or it's Cloudera's CDH or it's Hortonworks HDP. It doesn't matter. Under the hoods, internally, they all use uh, the the vanilla open source Hadoop project. Okay, so it's all based on Hadoop. These are just the abstraction layers that are provided on top of that core framework. Okay, so hang on with your questions. Keep a note of it till there for the end of the session. Okay, so with this, I'll just log into my remote system. So what I want to show you is I have two systems. Okay, all right. I think you guys cannot see my screen yet, right? Yeah, my bad. Okay, we're good. I hope you guys can see now. Okay. So couple of things I want to show you. So one more thing is the message window is on a different computer. Okay, so I may not be able to monitor it. So in case you want to say anything, you can go ahead and still ping. I mean, send your message in that message box. So these are the four machines I have. Okay. Uh, RH stands for Red Hat. So I have Red Hat Enterprise set up. Uh, four computers. So these are four virtual machines with four distinct IPs. Okay. So if I ping any of these guys, hopefully I should get a response back. Okay, so we are these four. So I'm just pinged one machine, but all of these four machines are alive. Okay, so again, coming back to the point that I am not a Linux expert. So I struggle a lot with permissions, with moving files around and things like that. So I use a tool called WinSCP. So SCP is a popular Linux command, right, for moving files around. So there's a tool called WinSCP, which gives you a nice GUI to work on it. So probably if you are not familiar with Linux like me, you might want to download and install this software, WinSCP. Okay. So if you see, I already have some stored sessions. So this guy, so you can consider the names as, forget about the preceding part, it's 741, 742, 743 and 744. Okay. So this one guy, the 41 guy, I have chosen as my name node, and the rest I'll use as my data nodes. Okay. So I'll just log into this, and here if you see this window, this guy actually, the left side shows my local system, my local drive, and this is the Hadoop file system. Okay, that looks familiar to Hadoop users. So I can actually copy, paste and move files around. So normally I use it because the first thing to set up Hadoop, if you see, there is no Hadoop in here already in this 41 machine. So I'm planning to set this up in this local, my user's local directory. Okay. Okay. So I already have this guy. So I'll just I'll just get rid of this. Guys, can you hear me now? I think the call got dropped. Okay, cool. So I'll go back to this remote machine. So if you have seen, I already had a directory which I removed. Okay, so there is nothing in this Linux machine as of now. So the next thing, or the first thing that one needs to do in order to set up Hadoop is download the project from the Apache site. Okay, so you can go to apache.org and you will see a set of downloads for Hadoop. Okay, so there are, the latest versions are 2.x. So I haven't tried doing that because I really didn't need to upgrade on how Hadoop works on Linux. So I'm focusing specifically on the Microsoft implementation side of it. So this is what I did when I learned. So I have one of these version already downloaded here. Okay, and I have two directories. So one is the master, so the name node, and so again you have to understand that the entire framework needs to be installed in all the nodes. Okay, because at runtime this is distributed. Any of the data nodes can pick up your task and execute that job. So the entire runtime and the framework, Java, etc., they all need to be on all the four nodes. Okay, so the first thing what I'll do is I'll copy this guy to this Linux machine. Okay, so it takes around 10 minutes to copy. Okay, couple of things I wanted to show you in the meantime is so we will take a look at them once it is copied to Unix, but I just wanted to show the structure. So this is 1.0.3, okay, and it's the simple, that's the entire structure that I downloaded from the Apache site. So if you download Hadoop from Apache, you will get a folder with similar content. Okay, so the most important directories, or the two most important directories here, are the bin directory and the conf directory. Okay, all your Hadoop executables or your shell scripts, they are found here. Okay, so these are the commands, or these are the daemons, the services which start up your name node service, your data node service, your job services, your Mapreduce services, and things like that. So I'm hoping that you guys have some background knowledge, right? You know what a data node or what a name node is. So I'm not going into the details. In case you don't, you have to refer back to the previous sessions that we had and get an understanding of these things. Okay. So one is this bin folder, and the other is the conf folder. So this is the configuration folder. Okay, where will Hadoop save all the input and output files, or what will be the, so how does the name node know which are the data nodes or which are the task nodes? Okay, so we have several configuration files here, like core site, that actually defines where where Hadoop will save its input and output file. So if I just open it, so I'll see there are properties like this and there are values like this. So if you see, this already has a folder called app Hadoop temp specified as the temporary folder location or the data folder location. So this starts from the root, okay, the root directory. So in root we will have a folder called app. Under that Hadoop, under that temp, that will have the temporary data folders for Hadoop and the data files for Hadoop. If you see this, this has to have the name of the name node. So if you see, I chose 41, so it's already pre-configured. I have 41 here specified as the default site or the default location for tracking whatever files I have in my DFS or my Hadoop file system. So if just to recap that, the name node actually maintains a register of, you know, the data blocks or the file blocks, which are replicated across the data node. So during the job execution, it refers to that register, it gets the location of the data, and it goes to the respective name node. So that's the specification that where our data block registry will be. Okay, so these are some of the important files that you have. Okay, this is one more guy I have. So these are the commands that I'm going to execute in a short while. Okay, let me take a look back at this. Okay, we are almost done, it seems. So once I copy this guy, I'll just rename, because to separate the master and the slave in my local machine, I have named it as Hadoop master and Hadoop slave. But actually, after copying there to the Linux node, I'll rename it to Hadoop. Okay. And in the meantime, I'll open this WinSCP guy a few more times to connect to the data nodes as well. Okay, because we need to copy this to the data nodes as well. So I now connected to all my data nodes as well. Okay, 41, 42, 43, 44. So this is 42. I'll just check if I have the Hadoop directory here. I have it, so I'll just get rid of it. And I'll check the same with 43. So this makes the file movement, the directory browsing and stuff like that really easier for me, this kind of a GUI. Otherwise I'll struggle and take a lot of time doing it from the command or from any Linux shell. And the last guy. Okay. This copy is almost done. Okay, there are two guys waiting. All right, and understand that this is very simple, okay? And this is not a complex installation where you have registry entries, you have DLL dependencies and things like that. This is a simple Xcopy or a copy paste based deployment or installation. So I really don't need to install anything. I'm just copying and moving things around, okay? And that's the beauty of open source and Java. So while it goes on for a while, still 30 seconds, what I'll do is I'll go back to this data nodes 2 and I'll start copying the slaves here. Okay, here is one, here is data node 3, and here is data node 4. Notice that I'm copying this to an identical location. So in every node I have a directory structure user local, and I'm putting it in there. Okay. Coming back to the name node, it is done. Okay. So I'll rename this and I'll name it to Hadoop. So keep in mind that there are prerequisites of using Hadoop. For example, as simple as Java, you need to have the Java runtime because it is based on Java. That is too obvious. So a Linux, so when you have a Linux box, a virtual machine running Linux, it's almost sure that you are going to have a Java version pre-deployed in it, but that always may not be the case. So in such scenarios, you will get errors like Java home not set or cannot find Java. So in that case, you have to install Java first in that Linux box. Okay, and for example, this version of Linux 5.8 that I used, that comes inbuilt with Java, but the version of Java is 1.6, which is not good for Hadoop. Hadoop, as far as I remember, it at least requires 1.7 version of the JDK. So in that case, if you have a version of Java that is not supported, you may have to uninstall and reinstall. Again, I'm not a Linux expert, so I did it in this case. I have the commands. If anybody wants, I can share. But again, I'm not really into the details of what happens if uninstallation fails or installation fails and stuff like that. So I renamed it to Hadoop, and this is the time to show you the command files I have, the shell commands that I had. So these are some of the hypotheses that you already saw, right? That I have copied the Hadoop to this directory. So the Hadoop home is set to these. If these environment variables are not set correctly, things will not work. So again, these are the basic prerequisites. Wherever you copy Hadoop, you set it to Hadoop home. Wherever you have Java, you set it to Java home. Hive home, you can ignore it for now. So again, Hive is not a mandatory requirement to install Hadoop. Hive is something that is on top of Hadoop, so you can disregard this part. Yeah, so these are the struggles I had with Java versions. And if you guys all know, right, that Hadoop has some internet portals. I mean, some web portals like name node portal, the Mapreduce portal and stuff like that. So the entire system runs on the port 570, and of course there's a name node service. So if you browse to this location, you will get a glimpse of how your cluster is, what are the number of nodes, what is the storage, how much storage you use, and things like that. So I'll just navigate here, and if you see, it shows up, but this is a stale data that is showing. Okay, so what it is showing is, let me copy this. See, I did it on a different machine. That's why it started failing. The other machine, it was picking up the stale. So obviously, we don't have anything on this 41. We just copied, but we haven't set up anything. We haven't started the services. So nothing is there. So it fails. It doesn't display anything. Even if on the other machine, if you see where it shows up, it will actually show that everything is 0, which is not valid. Each of this machine have 100 GB around, I guess, hard disks. So there is nothing it shows. It shows 0. It shows that all the nodes are dead. So there is no live node. So this is actually not correct data. Okay. So let's leave it as of now. So I come here, it doesn't show up anything. And then what I do is I have to start the services, and I have to start the job trackers I mean, you have to start up the entire Hadoop ecosystem now for my cluster to be ready and start processing. Okay, so as of now, all the data nodes are still copying. Okay, we only have one node where we have Hadoop set up correctly. Okay, so what we will do is we will go inside it. I already shown you the conf where my storage is specified. Okay, this is this part. So this is the name node and this will be the temp directory. We do not need to change here. And there are two files here if you see. One is the master and one is the slaves. So this is the master as specified and these are my slaves. Okay, note that my slaves are not yet ready, right? So I'll just put in two more guys here. This is two. Note that I have one also listed as slave. So that is because you can use a same node to serve as both your name node and the data node. So your name node can also do, if it is a powerful machine, that's not ideally the case most of the times, but if it is a powerful machine, even you can use your name node to additionally perform the data node services as well. Okay, so that's what I had in this slaves file. And one very important thing is this version of Hadoop, I'm not sure about the newer version, but this one listens on IPv4 protocol. Okay, so by default, if you have an upgraded network card or network device, it will route you through IPv6. So there could be a need there that you need to move to the etc directory and find out the hosts file. Okay, the hosts file, and you need to add this name to IP mappings. So these are when the service reads from the host file and it maps the IP addresses with the server names, they always do it on IPv4. That's the old way of doing things. Okay. Another option is you can go to your advanced properties to the NIC, your network interface card. You can go to the advanced properties and you can disable IPv6, but that will stop that, or that will hamper other services that might use IPv6. So normally I do not recommend that. I do not recommend disabling anything. So keep everything as it is. You can make the changes as per your need. So you can add a host file mapping. So I'll show you that all my name nodes and data nodes, they all have these mapping in the data nodes, because the data similarly as the name node needs to know who are the data nodes, the data nodes also need to know who is the name node. So this needs to be there in all the nodes. Okay, so this is done, and now is the time to start up the services through commands. So again, there are a lot of tools that are available you can use, but normally I prefer Cygwin or even Putty. So this is the terminal that will let me fire commands on that Linux systems. Okay, so I'll use SSH to connect to 41. And I'm connected. Okay, so the first thing that needs to be done when you set up Hadoop is you format the file system of your name node. Remember that I have all the file locations and everything specified in those configuration files, right? In the XML files in the conf directory. If you need more information on that, you go back to a couple of months back when we presented detailed on setting up. Sunil, my colleague, explained how HDFS works and stuff like that. So there he mentioned what are the files and where are the entries specifically. So you can refer back to that. As of now, what we will do is we'll issue a command to format the name node, the storage system, to be it ready. Okay, immediately I got an error which says permission denied. Okay, so that's again a problem you might face, permission problems. So again, what I normally do is it takes a lot of time for me to struggle with those change mod op commands. So what I do is I use WinSCP. So I again go back to the name node, and again the permission denied we got is, so you can understand that we are not even referring to any input file or anything. We are just starting up the system command. So it actually doesn't have permission in the Hadoop's bin directory. Okay. So we'll go to that folder where we have Hadoop bin, and I'll simply set the permissions from here. Okay, and I'll set it recursively to all the subfolders if it has, and I'll run the same command. So it asks if you want to format. I say yes. Okay, I think there is something already running. So it's saying that it's locked and all. So what I'll do is it had some stale stuffs running, so I'll do a format again. Okay, so now the name node is successfully formatted. If you remember, it has picked, we have this path specified for the temp part, and it will append, it will create its own folders on top of it. So this is the main storage directory, and that has been successfully formatted. Okay, we are ready. Now we go back here again on the portal. Does it come up? It doesn't. Correct, because we have the name node formatted, but we haven't started any service, right? So typically now if I come back to this file, you see there's a command start all. So this start all by default will start all the services, the name node service, the data node service, the secondary name node, job tracker, task tracker, history server, and everything. So you can do it as long as you are learning and testing things out, but typically specific services should be started in specific nodes, right? You don't want to start task tracker and stuff like that in your name node. So what we will do is we will first start the Dfs service. So this Dfs service actually brings your entire storage online and available in the portals. So I'll just copy this command. I believe I already have it here as well. Start Dfs. Okay, so look out, it says starting name node, and it says where it is logging. Okay, so it says where it is logging. So it makes it really easy for us to find out if anything has gone wrong or the services have not started, which pretty much seems the case here. I think we got some errors. Let's check it out. Yep. So if you see, the errors that it is giving is about 43, 42. So all the other guys, right? And this is expected because I have it in my slaves file. I have it everywhere, but these nodes aren't ready yet, right? So whenever it starts up, it reads those configuration files, and it tries to ping those data nodes to see if they are alive. Because if you remember that Mapreduce portal or the name node portal will show the details about live nodes, dead nodes, and stuff like that. So it says no such file or directory. So in 44, it was not able to find user local Hadoop bin, Hadoop daemon, the internal services, which is understandable because we don't have it. Okay, the copy has completed, but we don't have the proper name. We have Hadoop slave, and we may not have the configuration set correctly as well. So what we will do as of now is we'll go back and we'll get rid of these guys. Okay, 41 is fine. This is the same server, and I start it again. Okay, so now you see it says secondary name node running as a process, stop it first. So if it is already running, it will give you such messages. Okay, so if you can run multiple times, if you see this guy, it didn't start last time. That's why it started hopefully this time. So if I again run this command, it will say that all the services are running, stop them first. Okay, no, it's still failing for the data nodes. Okay, that is fine. All right. Now that we have the DFS ready, we'll start the Mapreduce service. Okay, and okay, now if you see, it's not showing dead nodes or anything else, but it has still not picked up the nodes or the data node services, because again the name node is just for maintaining the directory. It doesn't store the data, neither it runs the data node services. But right now we don't have the data nodes ready, right? All the data nodes 2 3 I mean 42 43 and 44, they're down. Okay, so the only thing it has. Hello.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but I suppose you have again frozen your screen. We can't see the screen.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. So till what part? From what part? Like you are missing? Anyways, so if you see the screen, I hope you can see it now, right? So if you see the screen, uh, there are no dead nodes. It has removed all those entries, but it is still not picking up anything because the name node neither stores the file nor it runs the services of the data node. Correct? So what I do is I now come back here. And I start the, okay, it failed for some reason. I'm starting the data node service here. Okay, so this exception that you get, incompatible namespace, that is understood because the entire directory structure I copied from a previous run. So they are incompatible with this version of the service. So to tackle that, what you need to do is you need to go to that storage path. You remember it is app Hadoop temp as mentioned, and you need to just get rid of this because this was created from a previous run. So actually when the service starts up, it creates the directory. Okay, so it was created from the previous run and that's why it failed. So I'll run this command again. Yeah, so now if you see, it started up and it's started reporting about the block report of the data that you have. Okay, now if I refresh this page, now you see it shows a configured capacity. So now my name node is my data node as well. I hope it is making sense. Okay, if you don't understand, let me know. So now I refresh this page after starting the data node service. It now starts reporting that live node is 1. Okay, the configured capacity is okay, so it's not 100 GB, it's 129 GB, 120 GB. That is the configured capacity. Okay, if you go to live nodes, it's reporting. So this is the name node and this is reporting as a live node as well, because we know why. We know because we are running the data node service. We just started the data node service from here as well. Okay, if you go in, you can see the storage directory, not a big deal. Okay, so now since we have the name node ready and this is serving as the data node also, now the part comes when you actually add nodes to it. Now the beauty of Hadoop again is you will notice that we can add node and we can just refresh the pages. There is no need for service restarts and stuffs like that. Okay, so you can add nodes dynamically, so it will not affect the name node when you add a data node, and it's really great, because even if a job is running and it is taking long, or you determine that the input set is becoming huge, you can add your nodes dynamically. Okay, it will start processing, so there is no need of any restart or any reboot or anything like that. Okay, so now the next part is let's pick up one at a time. We'll pick up 42. Let's move it. I mean, let's rename it. We don't want Hadoop. And if you remember, one more thing we will do is, or we can even do it later. We can do is, we'll go here. We'll just check the master and the slave files. Okay, inside conf. So it is not a master. So localhost means it will not consider this when it starts up the services here. Again, if you start the name node service, because you have to understand that we have the same folder structure copied, the same Hadoop folder copied in every nodes. Okay, so you can make any node as name node by just starting the name node service there. Okay, so it depends on what services you start, and it doesn't have any slave, of course, because it's itself a slave. All right, so now it's time to use again Sigwin to fire some commands to my data node. Okay, so this time I'll use SSH to connect to 42. Okay, and again, I think since I copied the entire stuff, that incompatible namespace ID is going to create a problem again. Let me just check. Okay, permission denied. So the first thing is again the same. We need to give it to the bin. Yeah, it failed. Yeah, incompatible namespace. So again, that's something I should have thought about it, but again, yeah, just a small hiccup. What you have to do is you have to go to that temp, that data storage path what we have provided, and get rid of this guy. See, it has automatically generated in the 41. So that's the problem. The service is the namespace is needs to be compatible with the service version. So that's why you are hitting this problem. So once I start the data node service in my 42, the data node, it will generate that data directory again. Okay, again it started reporting the blocks. That actually means that it's good. Okay, so we come back here, we refresh the page, and if you see, the storage has doubled the capacity, right? Now it's two 120 GB boxes, and the live nodes are 2. Okay, so I go here, I now see, okay, this name node itself is a data node, but we have an additional guy now. All right, this is 42. So this is how easy it is to set up a Hadoop cluster in Linux. Again, the latest 2. Version, I haven't tried it out, but I'm sure it's not a big deal, or not a big shift in the paradigm. There are changes in 2.0 version. There is a concept of a resource management entity altogether, which is new, but the crux and crunch of the steps to set up, again, it is highly unlikely that you will need to do this, because you'll use a installer, you'll run a setup which will automatically copy whatever manual actions we did, right? We copied the Hadoop folder to all the nodes, we modified the configuration files to add the entries for which is the name node and which is the data node, and we added the IP to host name mapping in the hosts files, and we started the respective services, which service where it needs to start, we started them manually. So what the organizations are looking forward is they are automating this entire action. Okay, what you all get, so you talk about Hortonworks, you talk about Microsoft, you talk about Cloudera, what are they doing? They are giving you a exe, an installer. You double click, you just specify the name or the IP address of the name, which one you want your name node and which ones you want for your data nodes. they are automating this entire deployment. So we are doing it in 4 machines, which is okay. Think about a 10,000 Hadoop node cluster. Automating this action is a big deal, is a big savings to your overall IT management, infrastructure, resource, and whatnot, right? So this is where the entire world is moving to, right? Bundling or distributing Hadoop like that as an easy installer. But what I feel, when I learned it this way because I always knew that, okay, what happens if the setup fails? What happens if that exe fails to start one data node? There could be n number of problems, right? You saw we had some incompatible namespace, or we had some permission issues. So this could vary, right? We could have so many problems. So if you know the internals, it will help you to get under the problem, get to the root of the problem, because you know what are the configuration files you modify. In case a data node doesn't show up, where is the configuration file where we need to check, or where is the log file, and stuff like that. And the most important of all is how easy it is. Okay, so now I'll quickly go back here, 43. So if you remember, I didn't have to make any change, because okay, the small things you need to do if you are doing it by yourself is add those IP to host mappings in the hosts file and add it to your slaves and stuff like that. But that's minimum. That's really nothing. So it takes minutes to configure it. Okay, so I'll rename this guy, and I now remember what is the problem. I need to give permission to this bin directory. Okay, and since it is a previously copied guy, I have to get rid of this guy. Okay, all right, and I need to connect through Sigwin. This time I'll connect to 43, and I'll start the data node. No problem, it started. I come back here, I refresh. See, 43 pops up. Okay, and this last contact, this is, I believe it is, I'm not sure if it is second or millisecond. So this is a heartbeat that is going on. If any node goes down, okay, for example, I'll go to this 42 one where I am running this hard data node, right? You see, it's continuously giving the block reports. Okay, I'll kill this fellow. I shut it down. Okay, now I refresh. You will see the last contact for this 42 guy will start increasing. So Hadoop sense that the heartbeat is not proper, the data node is not listening. It's still shown. If you go to your, like, it's still shown to your in the list of active nodes or in this list here, but you will soon see that it will go move to the decommissioning nodes, and ultimately after a while it will be listed as a dead node because that node is not up anymore. So this is increasing all the time. Alright, so this is how easy. See, I am dynamically adding nodes, right? But in the name node, or if I have submitted a job, I don't need to stop anything on any of the other nodes. So each of the setup in each of the nodes are independent of rest of the nodes or the rest of the cluster. So no running job needs to be stopped, no running services needs to be stopped. You can just add nodes on the fly. So that's the magic. So one more time real quick. Okay, so I'll go to 44. There's the last guy left. I'll rename. I know, oh, sorry, I know this bin guy has a problem. Fix the permissions. And what else was there? Yeah, the data guy. Okay, gone. All set. Connect with Sigwin. This time to 44. Okay, I don't have it fired, so I'll just copy. Data node working, started. Come here and a refresh. So we have a 4 node cluster. So currently it's not actually 4 node. I should call it a 3 node because one is already I have killed. But we got a live 4 node cluster running in no time, right? If we go back to DFS home, you see the storage has doubled. So that's the beauty of the system. It's a distributed system. Storage has doubled, and there is no usage. Obviously, we can use. So that's going forward. We will definitely do. We'll see the internals, how it gets replicated, how it gets scattered or distributed in the DFS when you upload huge volume of data, and how how it works entirely when a job runs and things. That's going to come next. But the very basic crux is this. This is how easy it is to set up. There is one more portal. There is a Mapreduce portal that is available, right, to see. So again, this is the guy, the job tracker. So if there is any node, any job running, it will show. See, it's showing only the one guy here, because remember we removed the entries from the slaves file, and we did never added them back. So they are not still yet tracked here as task trackers, but we go back and add those entries back. These trackers will be ready to serve. Okay. Couple of things more is okay. So now the entire other ecosystems of Hive and everything else can sit. So it's again very same. You copy whatever you need. For example, pig or Hive or anything, you download it from Apache, you copy it, and again you change a small bit of those configuration files, and they will be ready to work with your cluster synchronously, right? So that is all. So the entire thing I wanted to show is basically how easy it is to get a Hadoop cluster up and running. I'll suggest you try it with this version first. And again, if you have your basics right, if you know what are the config files, what changes, where to make, upgrading to a newer version is just a matter of time. And again, at the end of the day, there is every chance that you might be working on a entirely abstracted deployment of Hadoop. Okay, so you may not even need to know it. You may not even need to worry about the internal versionings and things like that. Yet you can get it up and running. Okay. So okay, where is that guy? Yeah, that's pretty much I had guys. Anything you want to? Okay, let me check. Somebody is not able to hear me, but I'm not sure if it is a problem with everybody. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I wanted to show. I expected more participation, but well, I don't know how will it go forward. But yeah, guys, if you have any questions, it's the right time to shoot. Okay, how to get data in the system? It's pretty much easy, right? If you see, I have shown you the first is you need to get the data to the local machine in the Linux boxes, and then you need to put it into the HDFS or the Hadoop file system. Okay, so again, to put it in the Linux machine, I would recommend something like WinSCP. That makes life a hell lot of easier. But and to load it into the Hadoop file system, there is a command for copy from local. Okay, and it's simple as the same as the copy command, the source and a destination. Okay, so what you can do is you can fire this command Hadoop Tfs copy from local. So this will copy data from your local Unix system. This is the source and this is the HDFS destination. Remember, this is your server's file system, normal, your C drive, D drive, whatever. And this is your HDFS. So this path cannot be seen from WinSCP or something like a Windows Explorer. This is an abstraction over the underlying OS file system. This is actually the OS file system from where you will copy the data to this Hadoop file system. I'm not really sure about security implications. Anyways, what I know is Linux is very secured, and I'm really not. I don't have an answer to that question. Maybe a Linux administrator or someone close to rights and security permissions will be uh, better able to answer this. And regarding the edit log and FS image, yes, I can show you where it resides, but I'll prefer to keep it for the next time where we actually show how the file system works and when actually the secondary name node comes into picture. So I'll request Dinesh to just hold on a bit for maybe a week or so. We will come to that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So thanks, guys. And I know that there are people who are joining at the dead of the night. It's 2:33, 3:30. I can't believe this, but yeah, I really thank a lot for joining in and spending your time. Hope you will find it useful. And yeah, let's see. I think the participation is dying in this group. So I don't know what is the future, but okay, if there is participation, maybe I'll try my best to take it as much as I could. Okay, so thanks, guys. I appreciate your time and joining in. See you later on the Facebook group. Okay, see ya.